Here's what small business owners want to know and want to be told. You got to worry about the right things. That's the key point that I've learned today, and I think you're going to learn today as you speak with Jim Hoying right here on NxBizSuccess. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker. Jim Hoying is with Whetstone Business Solutions in Omaha, Nebraska. He's a genuine entrepreneur. He's been around 3 or 4 years with his own business and his partner. He's got a lot of great concrete tips and substantive ideas that every one of us can benefit from. Thanks for being on NxBizSuccess, Jim Hoying.
Glad to be here, Lynn.
Good to see you. Hey, listen, you know, you started in a home office. You evolved into another home office. Now you're into a commercial office environment. Yeah. Tell me, how has it been? What's been the progress as your technology firm evolves? What's been the thing that has been driving step by step your growth?
Well, we started as a small home-based business, and we're very frugal with our finances, and we were careful to not dive into something we couldn't afford.
Okay.
As our client base grew,
yeah.
We let our vision grow a little more. And at the right time, we moved into this facility. Yeah, it's acceptable for us. We believe in only growing into something that we can afford. And
sure.
as we continue to evolve, we'll grow into bigger and bigger facilities. But this meets our needs for now.
Good. Now you've got a partner, and you've got some software developers, some programmers, and so on as part of your operation. Probably fairly typical for a young, small technology firm. What do you think is outstanding or unique about your operation? What have you done along the way that you think is really going to define how your company, Whetstone, is different and is going to continue to be different and unique out there?
Well, as far as differentiating ourselves from others, we are a technology company that offers custom software solutions.
Sure.
Custom websites, databases, desktop applications.
Sure, sure.
And we have got a team of professionals that I would say is second to none.
Sure.
We worked together for years and years in another company. And when that company was sold, we saw an opportunity to bring that team together under a new umbrella.
All right. I want to interject and ask you, is this one of the key factors for success for your organization so far, is that you've pulled people, when you were ready to grow, you pulled people in from your past, familiar people. You didn't go out looking for new bodies.
Right. It is a key. Familiar people allow a small entrepreneur, a small business to grow with familiarity. We knew each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
We were able to take advantage of those strengths and weaknesses and not waste time testing and fumbling around and training.
That's so important. And you know, also I know that you, as all small businesses do, they think about their culture and their processes and, you know, how we do things around here. You know, and it's always an evolving story, but how has your culture evolved, and what have you struggled with, if anything, in terms of defining what is our culture? What do we do? What do we believe in? What do we not do based on the people that we have around here?
Well, our culture has evolved through the necessity to grow the business,
right.
And by that I mean we focus on the positives. We try not to alienate anybody, keep away from the demotivators.
Yeah.
And the culture has continued to evolve. But we had a culture in place before we started this company because we all knew each other and we came from a similar background, another technology company.
Okay.
It was a tested environment, and so we brought this team together and said, let's do it for ourselves. And that way the culture was actually more energized because you're doing it for yourself.
Okay, that makes great sense. Now I started out our little video podcast or training thing here today with a phrase, worry about the right things. Give me an example of some things you shouldn't be worrying about versus things that you think you should be worried about as you go this first 3-4 years of your business.
Well, you should be worried about finances and keeping out of debt.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be worried about whether or not you have the right drapes. You shouldn't be worried about whether or not you're going to make a mistake, because you are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you're pretty special.
Yeah.
We make a mistake, but recovering from those mistakes is critical.
Right.
And we do.
Okay. Now, do you think people are wondering, you know, if you're a small company, one mistake can be enough to put the company under? You know, so there is a tendency to be perfectionistic because it's almost out of fear, you know, because you feel vulnerable when you're young and you're new. How do you personally deal with that? Do you just shake it off, or?
It's funny that you should mention that because everybody makes mistakes, and in trying your best, you're still going to make a mistake. But recovering from that mistake and addressing it in a timely fashion, focusing on customer service is critical.
Okay.
Everybody makes mistakes, but recovering from those mistakes quickly is important, and you can do that if you address them in an honest way.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about your vision, how you started out in your home and kind of evolved and what you were thinking that you were going to become, okay? And has that changed over time, and if so, why? I mean, are you now, has there always been one consistent vision, or are you literally thinking every now and as you get new clients, new capabilities, maybe new people with capabilities, no, well, this is really what we should become something different?
Well, we are continuing to evolve, and that vision that we started out with has changed.
Yeah.
We're still in technology, but I think you adapt and evolve through the client needs. Yeah. You know, a key area that I think would be interesting here is I just got a guy to volunteer a couple hours a morning to come in and help me work on going after government contracts. Oh. Well, I think that's pretty good, because if we lock one down, he's got a full-time job.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And there's some big opportunities for technology out there.
But you know what, you just shared something. An effective entrepreneur is good at persuading people to put some skin in the game and to invest in something on a speculative basis where it may not work out. I mean, it seems to me good entrepreneurs are able to pull people in and infect them with some energy without having to put cash out.
Well, it's funny that you should focus on that, because earlier you talked about the culture. Somebody will put skin in the game when they see a culture they want to be part of.
Oh, that's a great point. You know, your vision and your procedures and your people are evolving, they're dynamic, they're changing, it's not static. Reminds me of the technology and the websites that you guys work as well. Give us a few pointers. What are we thinking about when we talk about websites, dynamic, organic, evolving? What's the philosophy we should have as small, modest business people?
Too often I see companies that build websites for themselves. They say, well, we want a website that looks and does this because we think it's cool. They never take the time, not likely to take the time to ask their customers, their vendors, their employees, what they think should be on the website. Because a website should be a tool that helps you either make or save money. If not, it's costing you money. There are ways to use technology to become more efficient, and a website can easily be a tool to gather information, disseminate information, put information behind a password protected area, allow people to see information together and use it as a portal. Today, your website is the front door of your company.
Right.
People are going to knock on that door first. If you build something and you put it out there and you don't touch it again for a year, 2 years, 3 years, that's not going to do you very good. We call it proof of life. Your website should be evolving and changing continuously. You can't afford to do it all at once, and that's okay. So do it in chunks, but dedicate time and energy to doing it and to talking to those other people using your website. Well,
Jim Hoying with Whetstone Business Solutions, I appreciate the insight. This last philosophical thing about how the web evolves, it's so great as we go into this Web 2.0 thing. People don't quite understand in general where they should be going with their sites, and that's so helpful. And I find it so interesting that the website kind of mirrors the evolution, the dynamic evolution of your own internal culture here in your office. Thanks so much for chatting
you're
with
welcome.
me.
Thank you.
Jim with Whetstone Solutions. This is NxBizSuccess. Make sure you're worrying about the right things. Worry about your website. Pay attention to the people, the purpose, the principles, the process around which your organization evolves. Get out of your home office. Get into the right commercial environment. My name is Lynn Hinderacher. Keep going and keep growing.